Most employee assistance programs today are built to respond to stress, but one of the fastest growing sources of stress in the workforce doesn't start as a mental health issue. It starts as an adult care issue, and most EAP models aren't designed to handle it. When people hear the word caregiving, they usually think about aging parents, but adult care is broader than that. It includes caring for a spouse recovering from surgery, a partner managing a chronic condition, a sibling with special needs, or even a loved one who suddenly requires support. And what makes adult care different from other types of care is that it's unpredictable. There's no timeline. There's no clear starting point. It shows up suddenly. And when it does, employees are forced to manage it in real time. That's where the gap begins. Because when adult care appears, it doesn't just create emotional strain, it creates logistical interruption. Appointments need to be scheduled, services need to be coordinated, decisions need to be made quickly. And most employees don't have the time or resources or expertise to handle that efficiently. So what do? During the workday, between meetings, after hours, in fragmented moments, trying to keep everything moving. But this isn't a one-time issue. Adult care situations often evolve. They require ongoing coordination, and over time, the impact becomes visible. Focus declines, availability becomes inconsistent. Managers begin to feel the strain, and yet, in many cases, nothing is formally reported. So the issue continues quietly until it becomes something bigger. No one raises their hand and says, I need help managing adult care, because they don't see it as something work is supposed to support. So the issue continues quietly until it becomes something bigger. Eventually, the pressure turns into stress, then burnout. And at that point, the EAP becomes involved. But by then, the organization has already absorbed the cost. This is the pattern most EAP models are facing. They're highly effective at responding to emotional and clinical issues, but they're not structured to address the practical challenges that leads them to adult care as one of the clearest examples of that gap. Because adult care is not clinical, it's a coordination problem. It requires guidance, navigation, access to trusted resources, and real-time support. Not just referrals, not just how do we support employees when they're overwhelmed, but how do we help them manage the situations that lead to them being overwhelmed? That's where adult care becomes critical, because it sits at the very beginning of the problem cycle, before stress, before burnout, before clinical intervention. And if it's handled effectively at that stage, the outcome changes. Employees stay more focused. Managers experience fewer interruptions and fewer situations that escalate into something more serious. So the opportunity for EAPs is not to replace what they already do, it's to expand where they engage, to move earlier, to address the practical challenges that employees are navigating every day. And adult care is one of those most important challenges. At Employee Care, this is exactly where we focus. We help employees navigate adult care situations in real time, providing guidance, coordination, access to resources, so they're not left figuring it out on their own. Whether it's a sudden situation or an ongoing need, the goal is the same: make it manageable, because when employees don't have support, they don't leave challenges at home. They bring them into the workplace, into meetings, into decisions, into performance. But when they do have support, everything changes. They show up more focused, more present, more engaged, because they're not carrying it alone. So if you're part of an EAP organization, this is worth considering. Where does adult care fit into today's model? Or is it something you help employees navigate from the beginning? Because the future of workforce support isn't just clinical, it's practical. And adult care is one of the next major gaps to close. If you'd like to learn more about how work-life services can help fill the gap, you can visit employeecare.net, because solving problems earlier doesn't just support employees, it protects performance.